Hey there YouTube, and welcome to Sunday. So I was definitely planning on bringing my camera out with me today. I'm going out for coffee and doing some work from a coffee shop, which is a normal thing that I do on Sunday, but I was gonna take my camera with me and talk to you guys, but it's like all gross and rainy. It's just gonna look bright out, but it looks gross and rainy out, I promise. Here, looking through the window, I can probably prove it to you if I can get this to zoom. And look at that grossness. It's just rainy and murky. This isn't the best way to prove this to you, I guess. So why am I going to Barnes & Noble to be productive and also meet with somebody? Well, I'm going there to talk about YouTube, specifically how to kind of do YouTube and how to get more comfortable in front of the camera, which is obviously something that I'm great at. No, but seriously, I do think that I've made like a pretty big progression from when I first started this channel. And just knowing that I'm going to have this conversation soon has made me think about a lot about YouTube. In the beginning of YouTube, my journey on here at least, and how it all came about, and a lot of things. So I have a story or two to share with you guys. So a lot of what I want to talk about today revolves around the name of the channel, Aaron in Beta. And I've talked about this before, but it kind of ties into something that I've done over the past week, and something that I'm going to continue to do, and something that I'm going to challenge you to do. And to talk about the beginning of the channel and the name, I actually need to rewind back a little bit further. When I was getting ready to go to the Iron Yard, going to the coding boot camp that I was in, I wanted to blog my experience. I like to write, and I like to put my thoughts down in writing, and I knew this was going to be a stressful time, so I decided that I was going to start a blog. And when I started the blog, I needed a name for the blog, and I didn't want to use my normal like Twitter handle or Instagram handle that I've been using for years. I wanted to come up with something a little bit more clever and a little bit more developer related, and being a little naive and things like that, and not exactly knowing really much about development, I decided to pick the name Aaron in Beta. But why? Well, the name Aaron in Beta ties into development. When a piece of software is in beta, they are testing it. It's not ready for release yet. It is just always being tested and improved, and you try new things and you see what works and you see what doesn't work, and it's close, but it's not perfect. It's not ready for release widely all the way out to public, right? Well, that's how I feel about myself. That's how I've felt about myself my entire life. I like to experiment. I like to try new things, and I like to see what works for me. And I don't mind having one thing work for me for a while and being able to admit that another thing doesn't work at all. And that one thing maybe worked 5 years ago, but doesn't work for me anymore. So there's this piece of writing that I read when I was like 16, and it's still to this day my favorite piece of writing ever. It's called Self-Reliance, and it's by a guy named Ralph Waldo Emerson. He's an American, and he wrote this back in the 1800s, and it's just a masterful essay. And what it kind of comes to the assertion of is that you should try out things, and you should change your mind when your mind changes, and you shouldn't be concerned about what other people will think about you when you change your mind. There's a line in there, to be great is to be misunderstood. And he makes that line, he makes that point by saying, well, if I think this one thing one day and then I change my mind and I tell people about it, people will misunderstand me. They'll think that I'm different or weird or that I don't know what I'm talking about. And his assertion is that's okay. All great people are misunderstood. And so Aaron in Beta kind of aligned with those principles that I'd also kind of lived my life by for a while. And that's how the name Aaron in Beta started. Now, why does any of this matter? So I'm now at the Barnes & Noble, and I wanted to get here a little bit early so I could be productive before I had this meeting, and I'm here a little later than I wanted to be, so I'm going to go inside and try to get as much done as I can. But what I'm trying to get done also kind of ties into this whole thing. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we wrapped up now at Barnes & Noble, about to go meet the wife for lunch. I was at Barnes & Noble to meet with a guy who I'd met via YouTube, and he's thinking about starting a channel and wanted to talk about YouTube and all of that stuff. And this is kind of a good segue into what really the... Leah, do you like being in the good lighting? So yeah, that was a perfectly non-awkward transition at all, right? I was just in the car talking about getting lunch and now I'm back at home. See, what happened is that I went on this like 3-minute rant when I was in the car about what I wanted to talk about today and then realized that I didn't ever really connect the dots. See, I didn't lie to you. I was at Barnes & Noble to learn Illustrator, and I'm also trying to learn Photoshop, and I want to pick up graphic design skills. All those things are completely and totally true, but what I wasn't really making sense about was what I'm trying to talk about, and that's trying new things all at once and really quickly. It's something that I do a lot, and it could be a good thing or a bad thing. It might work for you, it might not. This past week, my wife and I have spent the week being vegetarians, not because we want to be vegetarians necessarily, but we thought, well, we're gonna take 7 days, and we're gonna jump head first, and we're gonna see how it makes us feel, and if it works for us. And this is something that I do a lot. I did 7 days of raw veganism when I was like 24, and I had just gotten a new job at a new restaurant, and I got to eat all week for completely free, and I was stuck eating only garden salads because I decided that I wanted to be a raw vegan for a week to just, you know, see how that happens. By the way, it's not good. So anyways, the point that I'm trying to make here is that it's something that works for me and I thought I would share it with you. Try something new and give it all you've got for a week. And if it's something that after a week you don't feel burnt out on, or like you've found that you enjoy doing, then that's something that you should pursue longer. But for 7 days, set a goal for those 7 days. For me right now, I want to spend an hour at least a day in Illustrator or Photoshop, playing around, trying to learn new things, taking this course that I have through Pluralsight and just seeing what happens. It's a skill that I want, and it's a skill that I want to try out, and I might be really bad at it, but it would be really good to at least have a basic understanding. So 7 days, 1 hour a day, every day. That's what I'm doing. If you want to follow along in that, feel free to let me know what you're doing for a week to challenge yourself. You can tweet at me, you can hashtag it something, I'll think of something clever. I won't think of something clever, it's just going to be the number 7-day challenge. Tweet at me or leave me a comment. Let me know what you've decided to do for 7 days straight, that you're going to give it all you've got, all that you're able to do, and try something new. I haven't filmed at night at home in a long time, and I'm not used to using my lights anymore, and I just realized that this, the little pole to the umbrella that holds my light, is in the shot, and I'm a professional filmmaker, obviously. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like I said, let me know down below what you're thinking. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave them down there too. If you like this video, if you like what I'm doing here, feel free to hit that like button because they are super awesome and they make me smile. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button to follow along in my journey. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I hope you have a really good week doing whatever it is you decided to challenge yourself with, or whatever it is you were doing before. I will see you guys again very soon. Bye.